on the 88 Warrior. Finally got some real fenders on it. Still gotta get some factory headlights, but my uncle helped me out with a factory front bumper for it that I've got to do a little bit of work on before I put it on. These fenders had a couple little holes in them, some cracks that I just got done filling in. But she's starting to come together. Finally got the old chopped fenders off. Not so much material was chopped off the front. To make these things half-assed look like they fit. I'll never understand why people cut the front fenders on four-wheelers. Never makes sense to me. As far as I'm concerned, these are emergency use only because they're still intact structure-wise. But I like having full fenders. It is much nicer. The temporary headlights are back in place. Those are just in case I need them. They're ugly. They're not very bright, but they do the job for now. And my uncle helped me out with a couple of things for this. He's got one that's a year older than this one that was almost identical to this one. That said, there were several parts he was having trouble finding that I was able to find for him, so he's going to get those for his birthday. Foot pegs, heel guards, foot boards. He couldn't find any of those. He's got the wrong handlebars, so I got him a set of those. His ignition's messed up, so I'm going to see if I can't get him a new ignition for it as well while I'm at it. Because just that front bumper was being fun to find for mine. I forget exactly where I put it. I think it's over here on the old Corolla fender. It needs a little bit of work, but I've been keeping it right there so I can keep track of it while I'm working on cleaning up the shop. Just a convenient place to hang it, but an exhaust pipe stretcher should be able to take that tube back into shape. That's if I decide to go with that bumper. The aftermarket bumper's kind of starting to grow on me a little bit. I can't wait to get it done, but I'm half tempted to just run it like this and call it a Franken bike or a rat bike. Those yellow wheels are never leaving though. I love those for no reason. Only yellow on the bike. And I think they're amazing. It occurred to me that I don't think I've done a manual start on this bike on camera yet. Turn the key on, put the compression switch, fuel, choke, clutch. but the battery's dead. So, choke off, fuel off, compression release is closed, and she's as bouncy as ever. Now that's a manual start on the Warrior. As for the Corolla, I'm deciding to take a break on it for a little bit. It'll still be there when I get back to it. I got other stuff I gotta do though. But that right there is why I'm glad this is a first gen and it has that manual start. I'm trying to work a deal on getting the brace that's supposed to go under the fenders, because this bike didn't have one, and the guy I bought the fenders from, I don't know if he had it or not, but didn't send it with it. So I did get a new seat for it as well, but it doesn't quite fit right. So what's sad is the battery has just enough power to turn the neutral light on. Need to replace this. Bought a bunch of tools from a buddy of mine at pretty unfortunate circumstances as to why he had to sell them, but gave me a good deal on them. I'll help him out. They'll go to good use on the Warrior, the Corolla, future projects after that. Don't mind the weed eaters. To get them out and get them tuned for the season. The chainsaw as well. Not worth making videos on though, so that stuff's just going on the side. I need to find me a second gen Warrior to go with this one. I'm torn on. Even though I'm putting work into it, do I want to keep going and make it nice? Do I want to just shore it up as is and call it a rat bike? Let me see why the seat's needed. I might try to reupholster this one because I need to adjust the suspension too. But she shifts good, she rides good. Once I get the rod for holding the front fenders out where they're supposed to be, because you can see that's just about touching the case. It's supposed to be about out here or so. That's a one-piece rod bolted underneath the frame next to the starter. So I can get this up away from the exhaust on this side as well. You can see where the bike that these fenders came off of was being ridden pretty hard, and the fenders were hitting the exhaust on this side. Back fenders are braced up proper. Just need to get that rod so I can brace up the front. And got that. There was a crack running along here and a big hole here I could fit my thumb through, and it was cracked out right here and missing a chunk. And these fenders have been painted like at least twice. When I got them, they were this blue, which is what I've been sanding off. Well, like I said, I'm gonna have to just run it how it is and be the ugly bike. My uncle's making his nice. I want to make it nice, but if I get a second gen, my attention's immediately going to the second gen to make it nice. Regardless of how far along I am on this one, because I prefer the second gens. I like the way they look better. Same fenders, same wheels, same bumpers. They're basically the same four-wheelers, but the hoods here are a little different. They're angled out a little bit better. The headlights are up here instead of down here. I like where those are at better. I like the look of the first gens, but the second gens are just prettier too. I mean, you can see like right here, this was done with a paintbrush. Like, no complaints. I got these fenders pretty cheap. But that's why I started sanding on them, is the whole thing looked like this. Kind of upset that they don't make the factory tires for these anymore. Because I would like to get the factory tires back on this if I ever found a set that was good. But they'd be 30-something years old now. They haven't made the factory tires for these in a very long time. Got some sand paddles for it a few weeks ago. Those are used, but again, my uncle gave them to me. I'm not going to pass them up. He wasn't going to use them, and they'll fit the Warrior. If they hold air when I slap them on a set of wheels, then I'll see how they do. But yeah, that's the update on the Warrior.